Okay, so today we are pruning, doing winter pruning, which you do in the winter, and we've got a dog, which you do in the winter because the trees are dormant, so it's less traumatic for them, so they can spend their energy growing new stuff in the spring instead of spending their energy being upset that you cut branches off.
Right, and the sap isn't flowing, so you're not losing a lot of sap, and also the diseases are less likely to spread from tree to tree or from cut to cut while it's cold out. So we're going to start in this part of the orchard. We'll start, it's a little bit too early in the year to do peaches, so we're not going to be doing the peaches. We might do remove a little bit of wood from the peaches, but mostly we'll be doing pears and apples and quince. On the quince, we still are fighting the fire blight issue, so last summer we did what's called ugly stub pruning. We'll get some close-ups of that. So you cut out the fire blight, leaving a stub 4 to 10 inches long, in order to then come back during the dormant season and take that stub back to the branch, more like back to the trunk or the branch, the larger branch that it's coming out of, in order to more like you would a normal pruning. What else?
We're gonna do some kiwis.
Oh yeah, after,
trim some
so
kiwis.
we got to do some kiwis. We've got a dead peach tree over here we got to cut out.
Okay.
We'll have to get the chainsaw sorted out for that. And then up at the north end of the field we have a couple old apple trees that are probably 40 years old, 50 years old probably, that they were, other trees grew up around them. They were deprived of light, and they got really tall and sent up long suckers that were never cut out. So we got to do some restoration pruning on those.
Cool, so it's gonna be a big day.
All day.
All day. And first we're gonna take that dog for a walk. So, this is the first tree that we are working on today. It's an old seckel pear.
It's an old seckel pear. It's about 50 years old, actually. I mean, you can see there's quite the trunk split. There's quite a bit of rot there. I don't know how many more years it's going to live. It's been a great producer for us, but last year it got hit really badly with fire blight. So we had to do a lot of pruning during the summer, taking out fire blight. And now we're taking out more fire blight here during the dormant season. Something interesting here, you can see this is healthy wood here, but this is fire blight systemic in the wood. The entire tree may need to be cut out next summer, but we're going to cut back further and try to get back to healthy wood. What the healthy wood looks like. really different. And this is actually sap. There is sap in this tree even now when it's cold out. It's a little bit above freezing. This is January 18th, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably about 34 degrees. But we are in, it's pretty dormant, but if it was even colder and had been colder longer, we probably wouldn't get any of that sap. So let's see, we've done all around the lower section here, and if you compare that to what you see up at the top there, see we got quite a few big suckers we got to take out up there. We leave some suckers because if you cut out all the suckers, then it takes off just like suckers all over the place. So you leave some suckers on it, so you have what they call apical dominance. And if you have few suckers, they give out a hormone or a chemical that suppresses the growth on the vertical growth on the rest of the tree. So we cut back to here, we cut further back from the lesion I showed you before, and we cut back to here, and we've still got the disease here in the wood. We were hoping that we could use this branch. This has got some fruiting wood on it, some fruit spurs, develop some new branches from this, but with that there we had to cut back further, so we cut back to here, and here it looks good. It looks like it's all healthy wood here. So fingers crossed, we might get a few more years out of this tree.
Okay, so what we just did was an older tree with some fire blight issues. So there was quite a significant bit of pruning that had to happen. See it? Yeah, pretty radical pruning, and not in a good way. But this is obviously a much younger tree.
You know, this guy's about 9 years old, I think. I actually grafted this onto pear rootstock, but it was before the new rootstock, the OHXF rootstock came available, which is a fire blight resistant rootstock. So we're keeping our fingers crossed on this one. So we've been training this one, early formative pruning they call it, to get a good strong structure for fruit bearing. And as we do with all our trees, we trim them up higher than you see in many orchards, because we have deer pressure and we're not fenced against the deer. So the deer may come through this year and eat the lower buds, but the higher buds there are too high for them. Let's see, we have some growth here coming up off of the rootstock. You know, here's something interesting. Check this out. See this? This is voles eating. That's why we have this stuff on the stalk we're trying to grow. But this is a vole has come in here being hungry and chewed off all this sapwood, which will, if we let that happen to a young tree, it will kill it. But this is off the rootstock. It's not something we want, so we're going to get rid of it. this big upward growth. And that's why we're using these spreaders to try to get the tree to open up. We want more air movement through the tree to help resist disease. I'm going to grab a couple more spreaders and see if I can spread some of these upper branches more.
Not to talk about fire blight so much, but we're done with pruning for the day.
Yep, and pretty much, except for the peaches, pretty much done. Oh, and the kiwis. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have to
so
do the kiwis.
There's another couple days.
Whatever. But it didn't take that long though. But we're gonna walk through and
right.
look a little bit at some of the stuff.
Right.
Is that
so this the little pear, and it's got a nice form branching off. That's one way we prune trees, and it's a good way. There's another way which is kind of the vase shape. We'll see one of those up here a little bit. It's a young tree. We're just waiting for it to put on more growth so we can train it better. That one's coming along well.
Put some spreaders.
Another young one that needs to put on more growth. This one's going a little wild on the top. Maybe we'll come back and knock that back. That looks like it's on a standard rootstock, a very vigorous rootstock. Here we're getting, this looks a little more vase shaped, but I think we'll be able to put some spreaders on it. It's pretty thin growth, so we've added some fertilizer around it so the growth will harden, helps get a little bit more succulent, and we'll be able to spread these out and turn it into a well-shaped tree again. So pretty much a lot of the same kind of thing on all of them. There's a mixture of stuff that's between 2 years old and 4 or 5 years old. There's one of our poor quinces again.
One big thing we did was we pruned the cherries back a lot more than they had been pruned in previous years. We just did sour cherry eau de vie, and it's really, really good, so it'd be really nice to increase our cherry crop a little bit, and we're trying to figure out if maybe the last good crop we got was because Dad pruned it. So here they are with their haircuts.
Right, another reason why it's important to prune them and keep the size down is that we have to net them for the birds, and well, you can see that one's still pretty tall, but to get the nets up over them and to keep the birds out can be quite a challenge.
And then down here, you see there are big peach trees down here that still need pruning, but it's too warm still.
Too early in the season. Later in the season we'll likely get some cold weather, and peaches are likely to get some dieback on them. So we want to wait until the weather is warmed up and we've seen all the dieback we're going to see, and then then we can cut out the dead wood and work around work the tree around the winter kill.
Yeah, so
this is an old peach. That peach is 25 years old or so, maybe even 30 years old. Yeah, probably planted right around the time you were born. No, a few years after, I think. But trees aren't a long-lived tree. I mean, peaches aren't a long-lived tree.
right.
Like the pears will. Pears, we have some pears that if you don't have fire blight will last for 60, 100 years.
Well, there must be
apples as well.
There are shaker orchards around that probably have 100-year-old trees.
Easily, or 150.
Should go.
Yeah, we should go up and look at them. They look like Arthur Rackham trees. Make you think of Wind in the Willows.
That's the pruning episode, I guess.
Until
kiwis. Until the
kiwis
kiwi
and peaches.
episode. Maybe we'll do a stone fruit episode. I don't know.
Well, cherries are a stone fruit. Peaches.
Oh yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Hit like and subscribe. If you've got any questions or requests for things to see in the future, let us know in the comments. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.